We're in a 2013 Jeep Wrangler. We're going to put in the LC Pro with the Fortin EVO-ALL plug-and-play system. This one comes with single button remotes. We're going to use the single button remotes to activate the remote starter. We're going to lock and unlock it with the factory remote, and we're also going to have the option to start it with the factory remote as well. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to unplug the immobilizer. There's a clip in the back. I use an angle pick to depress the clip and then pull straight back on the plug to remove it. Okay, once we have the plug out, we want to plug in the Fortin plug into the ignition from the T-harness. Then we want to plug the vehicle harness into the other end of the T-harness. When it's plugged in, the EVO should be flashing all three lights. At that point we want to unplug every plug on the EVO. You can leave all the other plugs on the LC Pro intact. We're just going to unplug the EVO. First thing we want to do when programming the EVO is hold the programming button on the top here while we plug in the 4-pin plug. We want to release when the light turns blue. Now we would release. If we plug in the 4-pin plug and we hold it too long, lights are going to change. We do not want to release on red like that. If we were to push the button again, it will clear all the programming out of the EVO. So what we want to do if that happens is start over. Pull the 4-pin plug, hold the programming button down, let up on blue. At the point we're going to plug in the rest of the plugs on the EVO. Going to put the key in the ignition, turn it to the on position. Blue light's going to go out. It's going to come back on and flash rapidly. Going to shut the key off, remove it from the ignition, and press the close lock button on the factory remote. The EVO is now programmed. We could test it by pressing the close lock button 3 times. This will trigger remote starting from the factory remote. Vehicle will start and run for 15 minutes. To turn it off, we'll press the brake with our hand, hold it down. This will shut the remote starter off. Now, we can also activate the remote starter using the long-range remote that comes with the LC Pro. Want to have the antenna run. We ran it up to the top of the windshield. To start it with the long range remote, we're going to press and hold the single button remote. It's going to trigger the remote start. The car is going to start and run. To shut off the remote starter, we would press and hold the single button remote again, and we'll turn off the remote starter. Parking lights can be hooked up on the Jeep Wrangler. The white wire would go to the parking light activation wire. On the Wrangler, the activation wire is outside the vehicle under the hood in the main fuse box. It's a little bit complicated to hook up the parking lights. They are positive triggers, so you would have to connect the red with a black stripe to a constant positive source if you are going to hook up the parking lights on this vehicle.